We're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bring news just for you. Welcome to a brand new episode of News Generation. I'm Song Yujin in Seoul. Joining us today is Park Ki-eun.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us, and Julian Kim.
Thank you for also having me.
Thank you for also joining us. Now, both are here to speak on behalf of those in their 20s and 30s. So today we're going to focus on the Korean wave and the global appeal of Korean culture. Take a look at the screen to find out more. Ever since author Hungang became the first Asian woman to win the Nobel Prize in Literature last year, Korean literature has been getting greater attention on the global stage. Her latest book release in April also reignited global interest in Korean storytelling. Today on NewsGen, we are going to explore the Korean literature wave Hungang helped spark. We're going to begin our show today by talking about author Hungang, once again last year's Nobel laureate in literature, and her latest work. So, Ki-eun, can you tell us a bit more about her new book, please?
Sure thing. Back in April, Nobel Prize in Literature laureate Hungang released an essay collection titled Light and Thread, or 빛과 실 in Korean. This book offers a glimpse into her literary world and inner life as a writer. It includes lecture transcripts, previously unpublished poems, prose pieces, and even pictures taken from Hungang herself. Light and Thread is also the title of the lecture she delivered at the Swedish Academy on December 7, 2024, as part of the Nobel Prize ceremonies. And in the lecture, Hungang begins by reflecting on a childhood poem she rediscovered and goes on to explore fundamental questions that have shaped her journey as a writer. Questions about life and death, violence and love. And she emphasizes the idea that language acts as a thread connecting us as human beings. And this collection serves as a deeply moving record of Hunggang's literary thought and sensibility, offering valuable insight for readers seeking to understand her body of work.
And I think a lot of people were excited because this was not just her latest work and first work after receiving the Nobel Prize, but it's been a while since she released a non-novel book.
Right, you're right.
Then, Julie, I want to ask you how the public has been responding to Han's latest book.
Yeah, so upon release, the book immediately topped Kyopo's bookstore's overall bestseller list. Unlike her previous works, which is a little more darker, this one is more brighter and warmer tone, which many readers have found to be very charming and really seem to enjoy.
And once again, as mentioned in the VCR, Korean literature has been receiving more spotlight ever since Hungang won the Nobel Prize in Literature. So we're going to broaden our lens now and take a look at how Korean literature is resonating beyond Korea's borders. So, Ki-eun, how big of an impact would you say that Korean literature is making globally?
Pretty big.
Pretty
indeed.
big.
Yeah. Due to the global popularity of the Korean wave, or Hallyu, international interest in K-literature has also been on the rise. Traditionally, the export of Korean literature was driven by institutions like the Literature Translation Institute of Korea, abbreviated to LTI Korea, which planned translation and publication projects and collaborated with overseas publishers. And this was pretty much a one-sided model where Korea selected the works and persuaded foreign publishers to sign contracts. Now, the tables have turned. Export contracts inquiries are increasingly initiated by foreign publishers the other way around. So let's take a look at the screen to see how much of an increase there was. According to LTI Korea, the number of cases where foreign publishers secured pre-contract copyright agreements and then applied for translation support increased from 11 in 2014 to a whopping 164 in 2022.
Wow.
Although the numbers may seem relatively small, it is a huge leap in less than a decade, and there has been a gradual increase, like year on year, every year, except for 2017, where the number jumped to 98. And another notable trend is a growing diversity of K-literature genres being published abroad. In addition to traditional works that emphasize Korean sentiment and themes, genres like science fiction and fantasy are also being exported.
That's very good news to hear.
It is.
And another evidence, should I say, that really shows how well Korean literature is doing overseas is that Korean literary works are receiving and have received very prestigious accolades from around the world, right, Juliet?
Yeah, so like you have mentioned, K-literature or winning or being nominated for international awards have already been steadily increasing over the last couple of years. Counterattack at 30 by Son Won-pyung, which deals with the workplace lives of millennials and Gen Gen Zers have won the Japan Booksellers Award. Another book called Concerning My Daughter by Kim Hae-jin is a story about a mother and her lesbian daughter, was nominated for France Emile Guimet Prize for Asian Literature too.
Very good news as well. So before we move on, we are going to take a look at what our viewers think. We also asked our viewers which genre of Korean literature they enjoy most. And we ran a poll on our Arirang News YouTube channel, and if we look at the results, 69% said that they enjoy novels the most, followed by poetry, 11%, essays and plays both at 10%. So we're now going to move on and focus on specific regions where we are seeing the rise of Korean literature and its popularity. One area that really stands out is the Middle East, which is a region once thought to have little exposure to Korean books. So Q, I want to know how this all happened and how big Korean literature is in the region.
Okay, the Middle East was traditionally a barren market for the export of K-literature. So back in 2020, Korea recorded a total of 1,214 international book copyright exports, but only two, which is like 0.2%, were actually to the Middle East. However, like I mentioned before, the situation has been changing in recent years. And back in 2023, South Korea participated as the guest of honor for the first time at Sharjah International Book Fair in UAE, the largest book festival in the Middle East, where it actually showcased 79 literally works. 79.
So 2 from 79?
2 from 79. Another huge leap. And this shows the interest in Korean literature in the region is growing, obviously, initially sparked by Korean popular culture like the Hallyu, such as dramas, music, but now it's actually expanding into books, which is another great sign that K content is just spreading abroad in a very positive way.
Absolutely. And Julian, I heard that a major book-related or literature-related event, should I say, took place in the Middle East that really showed how popular Korean literature is in the region, right?
Yeah, so last month, Korean literature captured a lot of attention at the Muscat Book Fair held in Oman in the Middle East. Even though no Korean publishers directly participated, English translation of works, including those by the notable Korean author Hungang, were sold at this book fair too. Now, popular titles include Min Jin Lee's novel Pachinko, which has been popular due to its recent adaptation as a drama. Baek Se-hee's essay collections I Want to Die But Eat Tteokbokki, which reflects on the author's struggle with depression, has also been showcased at this book fair too. However, it is important to note that there are hardly any works translated directly to Arabic. All of these Korean books were translated to English instead.
All right, so to hear directly from the region, once again the Middle East, we'll be speaking with a millennial reader from the region after the break. Stay with us.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search our channel Arirang News. Click Community and leave a comment down below. Make a new type of news with us.
Joining us today to talk about the Korean literature wave is Palestinian millennial Suha Samara. Welcome to the show, Suha.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Hello.
So Suha, we'd first like to ask you, how would you describe the popularity of Korean literature in your country or in the Middle East? And have you noticed a growing interest in recent years? What would you say?
Actually, to be honest, Korean literature is not very well known yet in our countries, in most Arab countries. As you know, K-pop and K-dramas are extremely popular, but I think when it comes to Korean literature, it's still growing. I think one of the main reasons is the lack of Arabic translations of Korean books. I think people nowadays are curious, and they just don't have that easy access to read these kind of books. But that's it. Like interest is definitely growing, especially among young readers and students who are like majored in Korean studies or already interested in Korean culture. I think more people nowadays want to go beyond entertainment and K-pop industry, and they want to understand Korean society on a deeper level. So yeah, I think here's the literatures come in. Yeah.
I definitely agree with you. Translation into different languages, especially Arabic, would actually extend more further into the Middle East. So, can you share some Korean literary works you've read so far? What draws you to them, and what do you think sets Korean literature apart from other literatures?
Yeah, actually, I have read many Korean books, especially essay collections, which I think I have. It has like a very unique writing style. It often like feel very personal, poetic, and reflective. It's not just like about sharing thoughts. It really makes you resonate with everyday life struggles, emotions, and quiet moments that every human being experience. And I also have read like many novels like famous Kim Ji-young, born in 1982, which tackles very important issue in Korean society, which is about woman and motherhood, and also read like different kind of books, fantasy books, like The Rainfall Market, which is also explores themes like resilience, connections, and pursuits of happiness. But one author who really left a deep impression on me is HanKang. As you know, is also internationally recognized. She won the prize, the Mount Booker International Prize in 2016 for the vegetarian book, which is, and also recently in 2024, also she awarded the Nobel Prize in literature. I think her book, The Vegetarian, is about a woman who suddenly refuses to eat meat. But it's not just about food. It's a story like of someone trying to break free from control, dealing with mental health, and like experience silent resistance in a very conservative environment. I think it's very powerful. And I also read another book of hers, which is Human Acts. I think it's very beautifully written book. It's about Gwangju uprising. I think it's very emotional, and it shows how emotional impact on people. It shows how trauma lives on even after kind of events. I think it's really heartbreaking, but it's very beautiful, and I think many Arab readers can connect and resonate with these kind of books, especially Palestinians and what's happening nowadays. I think Hangang writing is very, very poetic and philosophical, which is I like this kind of style. She deals with deep human emotions like pain, silence, and dignity. Yeah, I think many Arab readers will enjoy her readings.
Great. So just to wrap things up, what could help Korean literature become more accessible and well-known globally? Do you have any suggestions on how you think it could be a better reach towards international readers?
Yeah, as I said, I think the biggest thing that could help is having more translations in Arab, especially into languages like Arabic, because there are many powerful Korean stories, and people can't access them if they don't have, can't read in Arabic. And also, Korean literature should be shared more in platform like podcast, YouTube, or even TikTok. I think in this generation, media is very important. Such a big part like of everyday life of young people. Maybe like using storytelling techniques through social media can really help introduce Korean literature, Korean stories, and in more engaging way. Also, and like there's another way they can use like Korean Day or like Cultural Day events. They should be more focused on Korean books, not just music and food. I think Korean culture is beyond food and music. So literatures could give people a deeper view of culture and values of Korean society.
All right, Swa, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So far, we've zoomed in on the K-literature wave in the Middle East, but another region where Korean literature is steadily growing its audience is North America. So Kyun, what can you tell us more?
Yes, an editor at Penguin Books, one of the world's top 5 publishing houses, remarked that, quote unquote, Korean fiction was trending and now it has completely exploded. And this follows Hangang's Nobel Prize win as well. 10 years ago, there was little demand for Korean books, but in fact, translator Deborah Smith even founded her own publishing house. to introduce Korean literature to the world. So, but now it's hard to find a publisher that isn't actually publishing Korean books. But like this is in North America, but I think just hearing from what Sua just mentioned, I think it needs to expand more into different regions so that K-literature can be known to more people around the world.
Hopefully. And Julian, as someone who's lived in the States for a very long time, how would you describe the K-literature boom in the region?
Yeah, so interest in Korean authors is expanding beyond just publishing too. Now Hollywood is actually starting to get an interest in Korean literature. Warner Bros. Acquired the rights to Blue Hole by Chun Sung-an, a science fiction novel about a racehorse facing euthanasia and a humanoid jockey. Pyonhyang The Hole, which Time magazine named the best thriller of 2016, is already being adapted into a film too. It tells the story of a man who lost his entire family and survived alone, living as a quadriplegic. So yeah, this is clearly showing that there is a lot of huge impact on Korean literature in North America, and people are not just reading books, they're interested in seeing film adaptations too.
So soon we'll get to see the on-screen adaptations of Korean literary works.
Yes.
Okay, so ending off, if you could introduce or recommend one Korean literary work, or it could be a couple of literary works to our viewers who want to explore the world of Korean literature, what would be your pick and why?
There's so many, but I'll just stick to one.
Okay.
So one work that I'd like to recommend is a book titled Wizard Bakery by writer Gu Byung-mo. It's a young adult fantasy novel that was published back in 2009. And rather than just giving the plot away, the key aspects I loved about this book was the blending of fantasy and reality, offering a fresh, immersive experience for the readers, and the honest emotions and relatability of the characters, and the broad audience appeal as the themes and content resonate not only to young adults but to older adults, including myself, because I'm one of the older adults. And of course, the literary quality and narrative strength of the author, Gu Byung-mo, makes you want to actually keep reading the moment you read the first page. And what I noticed was once you read a book and you really like it, you want to search more about the other works that the author has written. And that really helps you to actually understand the author a bit more as a narrator, writer as well. And not just like entertain yourself, but to learn more about the Korean culture as well. So it's kind of all blended in. It's fun to read, but at the same time, there are historical events, factual events that are blended in the novel, which gives you that extra kind of span of understanding the Korean history as well, not just literary works.
I mean, I've heard this title a couple of times, Wizard Bakery, so I think that it is quite huge in Korea.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't give us spoilers to the plot, so I guess the only choice I have is to read. Wizard Bakery by Gu Byung-mo, right? Okay, then what's your pick, Julian?
So unfortunately, I'm only just now getting to the world of Korean literature, so I feel like I didn't get the chance to read many of the books that we've mentioned. But there is one book that I really want to read, is Panchinko, which has been adapted into a drama. I think season 2 came out this year, and I watched both seasons, really enjoyed it. So I do want to read the novel to see how it compares to that. And all the books that we mentioned seem very interesting, so I've added actually all of them to my list, so I'm looking forward to it. But Panchinko is the number one because I really enjoyed the show.
Okay, so Wizard Bakery and Pachinko.
Yep.
Recommendation for our viewers. And that's all we have for today on News Generation. Special thanks to Park Gi-un.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you, and Julian Kim.
Thank you for having me today.
Thank you, and to our viewers, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. We are
News Generation.